Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing some Winter Wonderland theme holiday decor. Now with all the DIYs that I create, all the colors I use are just a suggestion, so use the colors that fit into your decor the best. Now I know these gnomes are gonna be so hot this year at Dollar Tree, I had to pick them up. So I grabbed this green one, and when I saw these gnomes, it made me think of something that I saw on a higher end site where they had spray painted them in a really metallic color. So I went to Walmart and grabbed a metallic silver spray paint, and I just sprayed my gnome with 2 coats of this spray paint. Now, just by changing the paint on it, I really feel like it's elevated it and made it look more high end. I get a lot of requests for creating wreaths, and so I love showing you guys different options you can do to create inexpensive wreaths from the Dollar Tree. I've really been loving the foam piece wreath forms that they've been selling. I also went to the thrift store and picked up a sweater that I could use for this project. I'm gonna lay out my sweater around the wreath form and cut around it. Next, I'm gonna cut out that center portion. Flip it over, and then I'm gonna hot glue the inner portion of the sweater to my wreath form. Then I'll hot glue the outside, cutting off any excess. I didn't want to cover up this sweater because I really like the look of it, so I wanted just some basic elements to kind of dress it up. I'm going to be adding a few pieces of greenery that I had on hand. I also picked up some blue picks at Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna be adding in some wood snowflakes. Now they sell these at Dollar Tree, but I actually picked mine up off of Amazon. I'll link everything for you in the description. And here's a look at how the wreath turned out. I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Skillshare, because I just love using them. Now, what is Skillshare? Skillshare is an online learning community. There's so many different classes to choose from. Some of my favorite classes are on photography. I love the productivity classes. I love all the classes about design and crafting. Now, one of the classes I took recently was called Product Photography Basics for Your Handmade Business. This class was by Christina Turner. One of the things that really drew me to this class was that it was shorter. It wasn't a super long class, so I appreciated that. It gave a lot of helpful tips on how to do product photography, which I don't sell products, you guys know, but when I shoot my videos, I love to have really aesthetic pictures to share with you guys, so this was a really helpful class for me. The thing I love about Skillshare is there's no ads and they're always launching new premium classes. I feel like every time I get on there, I find a new class that I want to watch. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. I'll leave all the links for you guys down in the description box. Now, ombre has been popular for a while now, and I wanted to try my hands at creating an ombre tree. So I grabbed 2 white trees from Dollar Tree. I also had another white tree from Target that I'm gonna be using as well, but really you could use any tree that you have on hand. You could even use like a larger tree if you wanted to. And I also grabbed 2 shades of spray paint. So I'm gonna start by spraying the middle section, which is gonna be kind of my transition color. And to do that, I just held my trees and spray painted it. Now I made the mistake of not wearing a glove, so make sure you put a glove on your hand so you don't get spray paint all over your nails and your hands. You want very little spray paint, don't go overboard with this. Then you can immediately go in with your darker shade. You really don't have to wait for this to dry. And then I'm just gonna spray my darker shade to the bottom. Once I put all that on, I'll let them dry completely, but here's a look at how these ombre trees turned out. I think they look great. I have a podcast, DIY Disasters with Liz Fenwick. Make sure you guys check it out. This next DIY is so cool. You have to try it or do it with your kids. It's just a lot of fun. So for this project, you're gonna need a pot. I have one that I use that's like kind of for my craft projects. You don't wanna use like one of your cooking pots. You're also gonna need some borax, and then you're gonna need some pipe cleaners, twine, and a skewer. I'm gonna start by cutting 4 pipe cleaners 5 inches long. So however many ornaments you wanna create, that's how many pipe cleaners you wanna cut. Next, I'm gonna tie some twine to the top of my pipe cleaner. And then I'm gonna tie it to the skewer so it's hanging down about 4 inches down. Now you're going to put this in your pot and make sure that your pipe cleaners are to the bottom but not touching.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this.
Next, you're gonna fill your pot up with water. So for every 3 cups of water that you put in, you're gonna put in 9 tablespoons of borax. Now, if you had a smaller pot, you wouldn't have to put in as many cups as me. I ended up having to put in quite a few cups and quite a bit of borax. So once you have in all your water, you're gonna figure out how many tablespoons of borax you need to put in. I had to put in about 3 cups of borax. Then you're gonna boil the water.
Another year went by.
Once you have it boiled, you can turn it off, and then you're going to place your skewer on the top so that your pipe cleaners are in the water. Now here's the tricky part. You don't want your pipe cleaners to be touching each other. If they are, like when it first kind of starts cooling down, that's okay. You can kind of move them around as you go. And if they are touching, you'll be able to pull them off, but if you can get them to not touch, that's the best. And also try to not get them to touch the side of the pot. Then you're gonna let this just sit overnight, at least 12 hours.
In a cabin out in nowhere.
When you come back in the morning, it is so cool. Like it's completely crystallized and you can pull them out. They sparkle, they look so cool. You can pat them with a paper towel. And I didn't realize that like the crystals were gonna be forming on my rope. So I cut off like the existing rope. Now you can create these as ornaments however you want to do. You can connect 2 of them together. You can just add twine to the top, but I think these are so fun and cool to make. You have to make them this Christmas and let me know how they turned out.
For this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
So I went around scouring my neighborhood to find some pine cones because I'm not gonna go buy them, like they're in my neighborhood. So I just walked around with a Walmart sack and found some pine cones that I liked, and I wanted them to kind of go with this blue aesthetic. So I'm going to spray paint some of them white, that light blue that I was using earlier, and kind of a deep navy blue. And I'll spray paint one side of them, let them dry, then I'm gonna flip them over and spray paint them again. You can use pine cones as a filler in so many different projects. I kind of styled them in a bowl just to kind of show you how they all look together. If you guys love seeing home decor ideas, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I post new videos on Mondays and Thursdays. So sometimes when I'm shopping at Dollar Tree, I'll come across an item and I'm like, that is cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm gonna pick it up because I know I'll use it in the future. And that's what happened with these burlap bags. I found 4 of them and I picked them up, and I felt like they fit perfectly in this video because they had that blue vibe to them. So I grabbed those. I also grabbed a round container in like their organization section. So I'm gonna start by cutting the sides of all of the different bags. Next, I'm gonna hot glue 2 of the bags together where like that top portion meets. I'm not gonna do anything to the base portion. I'm gonna do this with all 4 of the bags, hot gluing them together until I form a circle. Next, I'll put in my round container. I'll lay the pieces on the underside in place and hot glue them down. Now, I've seen several high-end burlap bags that people have put around trees, and I love the way this one looks. You can put any tree in it. Here's a look at how mine turned out. You guys have probably seen this white bell ornament at Dollar Tree. I picked that up and I'm going to remove the top portion of it. Now you can do this in any color, whatever your decor is going to be. And I'm just going to spray paint it with that darker, like kind of navy color that I had. And I'm gonna end up doing probably 3 coats because I flipped it over a couple of times. Once that dries, all I'm gonna do is hot glue my topper back on, and I've completely changed the look of this ornament. Now here's an inexpensive way to create decor that I think looks super high-end. Find any boxes laying around your house where you like the shape of them, and you're going to wrap them with craft paper. Now this craft paper I picked up at Dollar Tree. You're just gonna cut it down to size, wrap the back of it, and then I'm gonna hot glue the sides so that I don't have tape on the sides. Next, I bought this really nice velvet dark blue ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just gonna wrap it around once. I'm gonna leave the ends kind of loose to give it kind of that dramatic look. I'm gonna cut the ends so that they're at an angle. Now, I spent barely any money for this project, and I love the way presents look as decor. If you guys like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up so I know to do more like it in the future. These gold trays that they sell at Dollar Tree are so nice, and I always find so many fun things to do with it. I'm gonna use that metallic spray paint that I used on the gnome, and I'm gonna spray 2 coats of spray paint on the front and the back. Next, I'm gonna dress this up with some Dollar Tree products. So I'm gonna use some of their faux snow. Whenever you put the faux snow out, you don't want it to look perfect. So maybe add a little bit more to one side than you do the other. And then I'm gonna use these gorgeous blue ornaments I found at Dollar Tree. And I think this looks so beautiful and so inexpensive. You guys are gonna have to let me know what your favorite project was down in the comments. I'm dying to know, and I'm gonna leave all the links to Skillshare in the description box, and I'll talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.